Hello. Welcome back to part two. This is the continuation of our AFC predictions. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube, hit that notification bell, pound that like button, follow us on TikTok and Twitter. And let's just get right back into it. We just finished the AFC North. So if you're looking, we've done the AFC North and AFC East. So if you're looking for those, go back to part one. They're over there. So we're gonna start with the AFC South, Joaquin.
This is going to be a terrible division.
This is this is gonna be fun. I have the Colts being first, at 11-6. I have them winning the division.
Whoa.
I really like what the Matt Ryan trade. They only had to give up a third for him. You still have a really good O-line, a really good defense, Darius Leonard. You also added Yannick Ngakoue, and still have DeForest Buckner. So their defense gonna be good. The only really issue is their corners, but they could probably. I'm confident that their coaching staff won't let that be too much of an issue. They still have. Matt Ryan. I feel like he's going to come back and prove that he's still a good quarterback and he's not washed and he was just rotting in Atlanta because their dysfunction. I think he's going to have a top 15 quarterback season this year. The only concern for me is their wide receiver core. You have Michael Pittman, which is like a low end wide receiver one. And outside of that, you don't really have anybody. So I have the Colts finishing first in the AFC South at 11-6.
That's respectable. Yeah. I am finishing first 10-7. Who'd you rather losses to?
My Colts, they win the first four. And then I have them losing to Denver, beating the Jags, then losing to Tennessee. So they split with Tennessee. And then they beat Washington, New England, lose to Vegas, beat Philly and Pittsburgh, lose to Dallas into the bye, and then come out of the bye, lose to Minnesota and the Chargers, and then beat the Giants in Houston.
Sorry, I had you on. That's where our schedules differ. I had them losing to the Chiefs.
Okay.
I feel like they'll be good against bad teams, but when they play I don't think Kansas City's a great team.
Chiefs. I think they're better than the Chiefs.
I feel like Patrick Mahomes can make a difference there.
Yeah.
So that's where I had the change.
Yeah.
That was the big difference there.
And that's respectable. I just think the Colts are really good. I think Matt Ryan's still going to be good. Jonathan Taylor's coming off of almost 2,000. Did he hit 2,000, right?
I think so, yeah. I'm pretty sure.
A 2,000-yard season. So only good things about this team other than their wide receiver core.
Yeah.
What do you think about the Colts?
I feel like they're going to be a weird team this year because I don't think they're inherently terrible or awful.
Yeah.
I don't think they're a great team. I think they still need some pieces to add or points to prove on certain players. Like you said, Matt Ryan, maybe Matt Ryan just comes out of the gate freaking prime Matt Ryan, or he might come to the gate basically the same quarterback. But I feel like he does a better team, so that's where he gets some more wins still. But it's just a lot of stuff up in the air with them.
Yeah.
I'm not really too confident on anything for them. I feel like if they got Jimmy G, they'd be a better team.
On the Matt, you think Jimmy G's better than Matt Ryan?
I think he can be.
I disagree with you there.
I don't think by a lot.
Matt Ryan was able to put up 4,000 yards with no wide receiver one last season. Jimmy Garoppolo's not doing that.
That's a good point.
He had Kyle Pitts, and that's really it. That's all he had.
He didn't even use Kyle Pitts, to be honest.
Kyle Pitts had 1,000 yards.
Yeah, but he's had one touchdown, which I feel like is one of the craziest
his
stats.
wide receiver one was Zacchaeus, and Russell Gage were those two top targets. Other than so the fact that he was able to throw for around 4,000 yards with that, Jimmy Garoppolo would never do that. And
that's fair.
Jimmy Garoppolo has also never had an MVP. So true. I think that Matt Ryan will forever be better than Jimmy Garoppolo.
As of right now, I meant coming into a season. I felt like because if his last season, Matt Ryan, he could get worse because he's older and he's declining.
Yeah.
That was where I was really basing it off of.
Yeah, but I think that he has a way better offensive line. He's not going to get hit as
Yeah.
much. So his body, I mean,
We'll stay
now
together.
like pocket quarterbacks like him and like I'm not going to compare him to Brady, but like the longevity of Brady.
Yeah.
And Drew Brees played till he's 40. I think Matt Ryan's 37.
Peyton Manning was like 55 years old, basically.
How old is
I think he's like
Matt
30,
Ryan? I think he's
36.
37 or 36. He's 37. Yeah, he's 37. So he's only like he still has like a couple good years left in him if he's not
Yeah.
getting beat up every second, which with the Colts O line, I don't think he will be. And I think I think the Colts can be like an AFC sleeper dark horse team to make a run in the playoffs. I think they have the ability to. It's just the fact if they can put everything together.
Yeah.
So
I can get swayed on their record for
Mhm.
sure.
So transitioning into second place, I have the Titans at 10-7.
Mhm.
I Tannehill played really bad at the end of last season.
Awful.
Their wide receiver core is like they have Robert Woods. They drafted Treylon Burks in the first round, so it could be decent. But Derrick Henry's coming back full health. Their defense will still be really good as it always is. And I think Mike Vrabel has the ability to coach this team to be better than what they are. I mean, they were the first seed last year and didn't have their best player like half of the season, which is incredible on his part. So I have the Titans going 10-7 just because I think Mike Vrabel's a really good coach and he'll be able to put what they have together because inherently it's not horrible. Like it's still pretty good and better than like some of the like middle of the pack teams.
Yeah.
So in like a terms of like a tier list, I guess I would put them like you have your elite and then you have your like high level and then I'd put them at the top of like the mid-level teams or at the bottom of the high level teams, you know?
Yeah.
Like they're still going to be very competitive. And then for their wins and losses, I have them winning against the Giants, losing to Buffalo, Vegas, and Indy, beating Washington. So they go 2-3 or 2-3 into the bye. Then I have them coming out of the bye and beating Indy, Houston, and Kansas City, and then losing to Denver and Green Bay, and then beating Cincy, Philly, Jags, losing to Chargers, beating Houston, Dallas, and then losing to the Jags.
My schedule, my win-loss record for them is exactly the same, but I had them losing to the Chiefs. No, I had them beating the Chiefs but losing to the Packers. I think opposite of what you said. Did you have them losing to the Chiefs or beating the Chiefs?
I have them beating the Chiefs.
Okay, so I have them losing to the Chiefs but beating the Packers. But everything else is exactly the same for me.
What do you think about the Titans, where they're going?
Well, like you mentioned, they had a great season without their star player. But at the same time, they still had AJ Brown.
Yeah,
had a really good
I mean,
season
he
last
was
year.
also off and on the field.
He was off and on, but he still had him, which does bring
Yeah.
the wins. But also Derrick Henry brings wins. He's been proven that already in his career. Him on the field is a game changer, especially when he's healthy. But I mean, Ryan Tannehill, probably one of the worst starting quarterbacks in the league.
I feel like that's a bit harsh. That's a bit harsh.
He hasn't done anything.
I think he's still like top 20, like 20 to
top
15.
20 is not even a lot, though.
He's in 20 to 15 in my opinion. Like right in that area.
I think I'm just basing off last season and kind of Moses' work because when he's bad, he's bad. Like when he's having a bad performance, there's no like light in the tunnel.
Yeah.
You know, in his good performance, he's okay. You know, he's not awful, but he's okay. But I just, like he said, they have no wide receiver core. I mean, they have nobody besides the guy that he's drafted.
And Robert Woods is coming also off of an ACL. So
I mean, they have nobody to throw the ball to. It's gonna be another Derrick Henry run the ball year.
Yeah, I mean that's always what it is.
He could get aggravated. He could aggravate that injury again, and he's back out again.
So you had the Titans going also 10-7?
Yes.
Okay.
There's a difference on the losses.
Yeah.
By one.
So In third place, I have the Jags going 4-13. I'm assuming you also have the Jags in third.
Yeah.
What was your record for the Jags?
I had them at 3-14 or 3-15. 3-14. Yeah.
My wins that the Jags have, they win against. I'm just gonna say their wins instead of all their losses.
Yeah.
I have them beating Washington, Houston, the Giants, and then beating Tennessee week 18. Because somehow they always manage to beat Tennessee
Yeah.
or do something at the end of the year. I really don't like their free agent, or like they brought in Doug Peterson, which was really good.
Mhm.
Before we get into it, sorry, I got sidetracked.
You're
What
fine.
were your wins? You had 3, so it should be
Yeah,
relative.
I had them being the Texans, the Giants. Sorry, and the Lions.
And the Lions? Okay.
Yeah.
But if you have something to say, you can hump in. But I'm gonna start with saying Doug Peterson. I think that was a great pickup for them.
Mhm.
I really hope Trevor Lawrence continues to develop. I really want him to succeed.
Mhm.
At the end of last year, he started to look a lot better.
Yeah.
I don't like that they paid Christian Kirk so
So much money.
money for a wide receiver 2 at best. They're paying him wide receiver 1 money,
Well, he's
and
gonna be
now
the wide receiver 1.
yeah, and
For some
now
reason.
since they paid him, the wide receiver market has gone.
Yeah.
Usually 20 to like 25 was the high end wide receivers, and now it's like 30. Tyreek Hill's getting paid 30 a year. Their defense is okay. Their offensive line is also okay. They won't have James Robinson for most of the year. Travis Etienne is coming off injury, so their running back core is looking really grim right now. I just don't. I feel like this is like the Jaguars are still rebuilding. I think next year they'll start being way more competitive if Trevor Lawrence takes the jumps and they have a good offseason again, or not again, but like a good offseason. But this is where the Jags stand for me right now.
I mean, yeah, they're an awful organization. Just
Mm-hmm.
gonna be honest. They've been awful for years now. They have no upside. And the upside is hiring a new head coach after the whole drama that happened last year.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like the hate for Trevor Lawrence is kind of unwarranted because
It is unwarranted, yes.
all the things that happened last year to the team like weren't his fault. I
Yeah,
mean, they had
like
a head coach who didn't know what he was doing or
he
care what he was doing.
yeah, he had Urban Myers as coach. I feel like that's all you need to say.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think I feel like he's gonna. I mean, he has to be good. I can't see him being bad or bust. Because he
Yeah.
has work ethic. He has obviously a talent,
Mm-hmm.
and he wants to be good. So I feel like that's all he needs is just kind of prove people wrong.
Yeah.
Which I feel like he will be able to do this year because he has. Honestly, having Christian Kirk is going to help him because he has someone to throw the ball to that's kind of reliable. So I feel like they could. I mean, they're gonna have a bad season still, no matter what. I mean,
Yeah.
they have nothing else on their team that's a benefit. I mean, he's probably gonna get a lot of sacks done to him because their O line is,
Yeah.
kind of non-existent.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think.
I mean, they got Brandon Scherf, which is okay.
Yeah, but like you got one guy against 7.
Yeah. But like him being good makes everybody else better.
It's
Kind
true. That is
of.
true.
So moving on to the Texans, I think they are garbage.
Yes, I
I
mean,
have them going 2-15.
I have no notes on them to be honest.
What do you have them going?
2-16 as well.
2-15 as well.
Yeah, 2-15.
My only wins are week 10 against the Giants and then week 17 against the Jags.
Yeah.
So if I were to say there's a bright side, you have Brandon Cooks, which is still a really good wide receiver. Had 1,000 yards last season.
Mm-hmm.
And you have Davis Mills, which was surprisingly good for a 3rd-round quarterback. And he has potential to be a decent starting quarterback, like a Ryan Tannehill level, like not Kirk Cousins. I think Kirk Cousins is a lot better than Ryan Tannehill.
I agree.
I think he has like that Ryan Tannehill, Baker Mayfield, Jameis Winston type ceiling, or at least as of right now. And I honestly like Davis Mills. I'm a believer. I'm not a believer in anything else the Texans have. So yeah, I have them going 2-15. I don't really have much to say because it would be all negative after
Yeah,
that.
I'm in the same exact boat as you. I mean, there's no really upside to them this year. I mean, they have some guys who are going to be good,
They're
but
tanking for a high draft pick.
everything else is so bad. Honestly, their highlight thing I'm most looking forward to this season is their red helmets.
Yeah, their new red helmets are kind of good.
Sexy. I love those red helmets.
Complete side note: the Panthers sheer all black, matte black helmets.
Love that.
So good.
Alternate helmets need to be more of a thing in the NFL.
Yeah, I want the Bills to bring back their red helmets. That would be really cool.
Oh, dude. I think every team needs an alternate helmet because alternate helmets are fucking sick.
All right. So just to recap the AFC South, I have the Colts going 11-6 at first, second Titans at 10-7, third the Jags at 4-13, and fourth the Texans at 2-15.
And I had the Colts finishing. I'm getting my phone up so I can see. Get my phone turned on. I had them finishing. I think it's a 10.
10-7.
10-7. Yeah. Then I'm not gonna say the numbers. There's no point. It's the fucking AFC South.
Yeah.
But I had Colts, Titans, Jags, and well, I mean the last two teams don't matter, but Texans.
Yeah.
They're the worst teams in the league.
Do
you think they're the worst teams in the league?
I think the Jags are not the worst, one of the worst. I think it's the Texans, the Bears, then the Hawks are like the worst of the worst.
Okay.
So moving on to probably the most interesting division.
Yeah, this one's gonna be fun.
I feel like I might get some slander for one of my teams that but the AFC West, exciting. Probably the best division of football. Every team is a playoff.
I don't think it's even a probably. I think it's like certified.
It is the best division in playoff. Like if the Seahawks were good, it would be a debate, but the Seahawks aren't good, so it's not a debate. Because every team has the opportunity to win or go fourth place.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna start off with my first place. I have the Chargers winning the division at 12-5.
Okay.
I really like. They had a really good offseason. They retained Mike Williams. They signed J.C. Jackson. They got Khalil Mack. They beefed up their O-line. Asante Samuel Jr. is coming back healthy. Justin Herbert's only going to get better.
I really like Justin Herbert.
I really like the direction that the Chargers have gone, and I think they're up there with the best teams in the AFC. What?
No, I was just.
I thought you were laughing. I was like, you don't agree?
No. I just haven't snot.
I think their defense is gonna vastly improve from what it was. They also got Sebastian Joseph Day from the Rams, which will help their run defense a little bit. I think that the Chargers, they should be really good. Last year they kind of disappointed me a little bit with the way they finished, losing to the Raiders like that. But going through their record, I actually have them opening up on a loss to Las Vegas. And then I have them beating KC, Jacksonville, Houston, Cleveland, losing to Denver, and then beating Seattle going into the bye. And then coming out of the bye, I have them beating Atlanta, losing to San Francisco and Kansas City, and then beating Arizona, Vegas, Miami, Tennessee, Indy, losing to the Rams, and then ending on a W, beating Denver.
Yeah, I had them finishing first, but at 11-6.
Yeah, fair.
I feel like they can definitely lose. Like it's really a toss between which game I feel like they're gonna lose more to. Because I mean their division's so stacked, like we mentioned earlier.
Yeah, all the division games are gonna be must-watch television.
Yeah, I feel like Kansas City is gonna be guaranteed wins, most likely because they're just way better than Kansas City. I feel like
I have them splitting with every team in their division.
For some reason I just have like this weird feeling that they're gonna lose both games to the Broncos. I don't know why, but something tells me that they will.
Possible. Yeah.
I mean, I could go
it's
either way.
Such a top toss-up.
Exactly, because like their whole division's so good, and also, well, Broncos they're still unproven. But you
Yeah.
have Russell Wilson with weapons now. And it
Yeah.
was already pretty much Russell Wilson with weapons is
Mhm.
like one of the best quarterbacks in
Yeah.
the league. So yeah, I haven't finished 11-6. Like you said, they had a great offseason. Their offseason was probably maybe the best in the league, arguably.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna get better. I really like Justin Herbert, probably my favorite quarterback in the league. So I don't really more anything else to add because I feel I have the same points as you, but I see them losing both times at Broncos.
So in second place, I have the Broncos in second at 11-6.
Okay.
I like they got Russell Wilson, obviously humongous upgrade from Teddy
Mhm.
Bridgewater. Their O-line is the best or one of the better O-lines he's had in his career. His receiving core is decent. It depends on if Jerry Jeudy decides to be good and if Cortland Sutton decides to not get hurt again. They have two amazing running backs in Melvin Gordon and I know his name. What that dude
Judy?
their running back that they drafted last year.
I can look it up.
But I know his name and once I see it, I'm gonna be like, oh shit, yeah, that's his name.
Like the 2021 draft.
Yeah, let me Javonte Williams. Javonte Williams.
Yes.
UNC.
UNC.
He's really good. And I kind of didn't want them to re-sign Melvin, so Javonte could break out even more, but I feel like you're not going to be upset with a two-headed monster like that.
Mhm.
Melvin Gordon's still good. Javonte's only going to get better. Their defense is going to be as good as it always is. Um, it just all depends on if they are able to put it together and if their new head coach is, capable, like competent,
Yeah. So I actually in second place have the Raiders tying the record with the Chargers at 11-6.
Valid.
I feel like I don't know, maybe it's like a soft spot for the Raiders for me because it used to be
Yeah.
Oakland and you kind of like as a Bay Area kid, you
I actually
kind of
have
cheer
them
for both.
tied. I have them tied at second.
Okay.
I have the Raiders also at 11-6.
I just feel like something about the man, like the vibe they're giving off to me, like they added freaking Devontae Adams, which that's a
Yeah.
big addition.
Mm-hmm.
They still have all their key players that they had last season. I really kind of wish they kept the head coach who was their interim head coach. I can't remember his name right now because the vibe was already great with them, but they still. I don't know. I can see them. I don't know. I can just see them having a good year this year. I don't really have a good reason for them. I just for some reason somebody's telling me in like my gut.
They're just a good team. They're
a good team.
They're gonna have one of the best offenses in the NFL.
I think Derek Carr's gonna have a career year this year.
Derek Carr is probably gonna be an MVP candidate.
I think so. I didn't want to say it. I believe it. I was gonna say it, but I didn't want to get like slandered.
Yeah. My MVP pick is Josh Allen. No bias.
Which is fair.
No bias. I mean, even if I am biased, that's still a really good bet because he's just that good. So I'm gonna bridge into the Raiders as well because I also have them going 11-6. I have them tying with Denver. I don't know all the tiebreakers, so when we say the AFC seeding at the end, I just have them at 5-6.
Agreed.
But I really like Davante Adams. They didn't give up too much for him. I think a first and a couple draft picks after that. Their offensive line's okay. Josh Jacobs is okay. But Darren Waller's gonna come back healthy. They got Rock Ya-Sin from the Colts.
Mm-hmm.
They also signed Chandler Jones for their D line, which is an amazing pickup. That's gonna beef up him and Max Crosby are gonna be one of the best, or the better duos for edge rushing in the NFL. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they do better than 11-6. I just put them there for the time being. It all just depends on how good their coaching is.
Mm-hmm.
But I also have them going 11-6. What losses did you have for the Raiders?
I have the Raiders losing to the Chargers. I had them losing to the Broncos.
Mm-hmm.
I have them losing. That's two. I have them losing to Broncos again. I have them losing to the Rams.
Yeah.
I have them losing to the Niners.
So I basically am around. I have them losing to the Chiefs in week 5, and then losing to New Orleans, and then Denver, and then losing to the Chargers and the Rams back to back, and then losing to San Francisco.
I'm glad we're on the same page as San Francisco.
Yeah. My San Francisco prediction is, woo. I think it's gonna be
Yeah, I'm flattered.
too high. I mean, I really like San Francisco, but we'll
I don't
get
know
to
how to
that.
feel. We'll get into that.
We'll
Yeah.
get to that next episode. But yeah, Raiders, I think they're really good.
I'm excited for them.
I'm
really
excited. They're
for the
gonna be
Raiders.
fun to watch.
Yeah.
Really fun to watch.
Because if the Niners had just a terrible season, I'm so down to jump on that bandwagon so fast. Because I'm allowed to, technically.
Who did you have in third?
I had the Broncos in third.
Okay.
With I had them at 10-7.
All right.
Just because I feel like it's the first year for them. I feel like 10-7 with a new roster like that is gonna be
that's a successful season.
That's a successful season. They're gonna be there later in the season. And I could it's this whole division, honestly, because it's so good. I have a lot of these games going I think they could I think they win, but I'm not confident whatsoever.
It could be completely opposite.
Exactly. So for all we know, Broncos can have a god season.
Yeah.
And finish first.
Or it can also just be bad.
Because they have so much talent,
I don't think they could be bad. I just think they would be mediocre.
Yeah, lackluster. Because they have so much talent. I feel like it'd be hard for them to. There's gonna be a lot of games they win just based off someone just goes off or the chemistry starting.
Devontae Adams is gonna. I feel like he's gonna have 15 to 1700 yards next season.
Yeah, because Russell Wilson is a great leader.
Or not Devontae. That was the Raiders. I feel like Jared Judy will break out and have around 1,000 to 1,200.
Because now he's having Russell Wilson, who loves feeding his wide receivers, especially his number one options. So I feel like they're a good team. Like I can't say anything bad. There's nothing bad I can think of. Maybe the only
questionable thing. No, their defense is they're strong. Like it's better than the offense. I think I think the receivers are a question mark because we haven't seen them all together because they've been unhealthy, not healthy, and inconsistently off, not on the field at the same time.
Yeah.
They also did lose Noah Fant, so their tight end, they don't really have a tight end. And their coaching, because last time we saw their we haven't seen their head coach yet.
Sure.
So we don't know if he's going to be a good head coach. Who did you have? I'll go through my losses, who I have them losing to.
Okay.
And then you can go through yours.
Well, what's the record for you?
11-6.
Okay.
So I have them winning the first two, losing to San Francisco and Vegas, and then I have them winning out to their bye, and then coming out, beating Tennessee, beating Vegas, beating Carolina and Baltimore, losing to Kansas City in 14, beating Arizona in week 15, and then I actually have them losing their last 3 games. I think I don't know. I just have them going on a slide at the end. Just because that's a really brutal 3 games back to back to back.
If we're gonna be honest, I kind of only put them at 10-7 because I didn't believe a 3-way tie for first could be possible.
It could be possible.
It could be possible, but I also think because I had them losing to Seattle, honestly, for a meme, because I think that'd be very funny. Something I see because it's so ridiculous. I can see it happening. I don't think it's possible. I see it. Like, who knows? I think it could be entirely possible on such a small level.
Yeah,
I can just see it happening. But if they finish a 3-way tie, I don't know if that's even possible. Because that's just how the schedules work.
So yeah.
But yeah,
it could be possible. But someone would get it. Wouldn't be a tie because there's tiebreakers.
Yeah.
But they would have the same record.
Yeah.
And then in 4th, I have the Chiefs at 9-8.
I have a 9-8 as well.
So I actually have them starting 0-4.
Wow.
I think it's a rough start because Arizona always comes out hot. I think the Chargers are better than them. I think Indy's better than them.
Colts is surprising.
And I think Tampa Bay is gonna be better or is better than them.
I'm still surprised about the Colts.
And then I have them beating Vegas in week 5, losing to Buffalo, and then beating San Francisco in 7. And then going into the bye, they're 2-5 going into the bye. So
It does have an early bye this year.
And then I have them coming out of the bye and losing to Tennessee, but then I have them beating the Jags and the Chargers, losing to the Rams, and then they win the next 5 and then lose the last game to Las Vegas. So their second half of the season is a lot better than their first, but I don't think they're able to recover from starting so slow.
That's
Also,
valid.
we have 9.5 minutes left.
Yeah. That's valid. I mean, I have the same record as them as well. I kind of changed it after you mentioned your point on Indy. I changed it because I feel like Indy is a better team, surprisingly.
Yeah. The Chiefs.
But I can see them also beating Indy, but
other than Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, who do they really have? Like
that's true.
they lost Honey Badger.
Maybe
They
Juju
lost their
just
corners.
goes off. Who knows?
Juju hasn't gone off since Antonio Brown was next to him.
That's true.
He's not a wide receiver 1. He's a high end 2, and they just
That's
don't
true.
have that.
But if I'm just playing devil's advocate here, he did have Big Ben in his declining years. So now he's had Patrick Mahomes.
I guess.
He's
Yeah.
arguably the best wide quarterback in the league.
I mean, also Juju was hurt last year, so we don't know really where he's at. In
Yeah.
his, like,
And
game.
they signed who's the other wide receiver they signed?
MVS.
Yeah.
But like I don't like he's okay. Like
But they're
I
both
don't-
kind of the same level, so maybe that helps each other. You know?
And then you still have Travis Kelce, but he is only getting older, so it's only before a certain time before he starts to decline.
Yeah.
I feel like that might start because he had a really good. I feel like it would like he doesn't have a bad season, but I don't think he breaks 1,000 this year
Okay.
unless they just force feed the fuck out of him, which
I
they might have to do.
So see happening.
Which 100, but without the threat of Tyreek Hill, it allows you to
Mhm.
double Kelsey more often. Because you
Yeah.
don't need to double Juju and MVS if you're confident in your corners.
Yeah.
And then I just think Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes are too good to not at least go positive.
I agree.
But I don't think it's a good year for the Chiefs, and I think that they will regret trading Tyreek Hill a
Yeah,
lot.
it's one of the dumbest things a team has done,
Like,
honestly.
They didn't have the cap to pay him 30 mil. So like I get it. But like it
They
just
could-
sucks.
If they worked with him, they could have gave him a 1 year and assigned him to a bigger contract the following season. Was that a possible outcome?
I don't know. I'm not like I don't think there was any when you're paying Patrick Mahomes 50 mil a year,
Yeah, that's true.
it's hard to like that's a quarter of the cap, and you still
Yeah.
have 51 other people. So it's
Yeah.
really hard to sign and like keep anybody long term of like asking like because then if they paid him the 30 mil, that would be 80 mil a year for 2 players on top of Travis Kelce, on top of everybody else. It just would not work.
Yeah.
So to recap, I have the Chargers going first at 12-5, Broncos in second at 11-6, Raiders in third also at 11-6, and then the Chiefs in fourth at 9-8.
And then I had the Chargers at 11-6, and I had the Raiders at 11-6, then I had the Broncos at 10-7, and then Chiefs at 9-8.
Okay. You did the seeding, right? What it would be?
I haven't had time to do the seeding, but I wouldn't imagine me too differently.
It wouldn't be too yeah. It wouldn't be too different. Well, it would be different because we have different
right.
people winning the divisions.
That's true.
So I'll do mine while you set up yours
Yeah,
because it
I'll do that real
shouldn't.
quick.
You just do the 4 division winners and then
Yeah.
So I have the Bills and as the first seed as 14-3. I'm assuming you also have the Bills at the first seed at 15-2.
Yeah.
And then in second, I have the Bengals at 12-5. And then at third, the Chargers also at 12-5. In fourth, I have Indy at 11-6. And then I have fifth, sixth, and seventh, all at 11-6. Ravens the fifth, Broncos sixth, Raiders the seventh.
Okay. I'm writing everything down right now. I get to my first 4 right now. I do
Yeah.
everything else.
Okay.
So I have Bills, Bengals. I actually have Raiders at 3.
Yeah, valid.
I'm on the Raiders train this year, man. Not gonna lie.
I mean,
And-
yeah, I'm on the Chargers train. So
I had Chargers 4, and it's just based off the division winners, right?
it's
And then-
based the first 4 division winners, and then it's the fifth is to seventh is just the highest remaining,
okay.
like the best
Okay.
remaining records.
All right. Then I have Broncos,
God, can this pen just work? I'm writing it out now. Make it easier for my brain. I have Broncos and I have Indy. Jesus Christ. And I have the Ravens.
I think my NFC predictions is where it's gonna get spicy because I
Yeah.
have a lot of interesting ones.
Because NFC is more spicy all around.
Yeah.
AFC is kind of just more so one division and one team per division.
hmm
And then I have the Dolphins. And then, so I do every team, right? Not just the winning teams.
You just do those first 7 seeds.
Okay. All right. So I have Bills, Bengals, Raiders, Chargers, Broncos, Indy, Ravens.
Okay. So I think that'll wrap it up for our AFC predictions.
Mm-hmm.
Our NFC prediction should be next week. Look forward to that. I'm really excited to go through. I have a lot of interesting ones. Sneak peek. I have the Lions going 10-7. It's possible. Don't laugh.
I mean, it is possible.
I'll explain it in the next
yeah.
episode.
It is entirely possible, yes.
But until then, make sure you have a great day. Make sure to follow on all of our
drink water.
drink water. Stay
Eat food.
hydrated. It's a heat
Mhm.
wave out there.
Yep.
And thank you for watching and listening.
Juices.